All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Um, go ahead and get the red book, please. The big red book. If you have the 2122, open page 902. If you have the 2122, open 902. If you have 2223, open
772.
772. And go ahead and turn off your phones. Before we get started, just want to make sure you guys been doing the homework. Okay. Uh, Next class is going to be pretty important. So next Sunday is really, really important for you guys. So don't just make sure you guys be here as if possible. And today we'll be doing a science test. Okay. What's going to happen is you guys will do the whole shebang. We have a stop clock here, so I'm going to try to get the iPads turned towards the stop clock so you guys can actually see. Of course, you know it's a 35 minutes test. This is as real as it gets for you guys. Of course, in the real test, you would have done English, math, reading. You would be more tired. So whatever score you get, think about getting 1 or 2 points less than what you would get, because that fatigue that sets in taking the other test really matters. Sounds good? As I said, this as real as it gets, basically. And all these tests were in ACT before, in the real test, so this is pretty darn serious. Okay, so I won't tell you, there won't be any discussion which two passages you have to select and all this. It's all up to you guys today, and all in that 35 minutes. So if you're not cognizant about time, of course, in the real test, you will not be seeing the clock like this. It will be in the corner or something like that. You may have to have a non-digital watch, and you can't have water today. Nothing like that. That because I want to try to get to that, to replicate the real situation. Sounds good? All good? Okay. Again, if you have a calculator on the desk, take it away, because you're not supposed to have a calculator on. You'll be disqualified. Then online students, I'll be muting so that you actually won't be disturbed. And of course, you'll see the stopwatch here. If you're you're watching the video, you also can watch the stop clock. It's a ginormous app I just downloaded, so you can see it clearly. Any questions for me before we get started? Online students, make sure you're all on mute. Everybody needs to have their phones turned off. I really mean that, because it really ticks off the other students when you're taking the test. Now I want to make sure that my phone is turned off and in a silent mode so that it doesn't go off. Any other comments?
So sorry for the 21. Yes, for the 2122 one. Which page is it on again?
902.
Okay, thank you.
I'm only going to remind you guys that you have to think of doing the selection of the two passages. Don't forget that one. It's going to really hurt you guys if you don't do it. And make sure it's a test, so you have to answer all questions. Okay? Remember, in the real test, you'll also have to bubble in the answers. We don't have that situation here. Again, your score truly depends on your dedication and focus on time today. So when it starts around 4:10ish, 35 minutes is on 4:45. Okay? Then I'm going to be reading out the answers. Then you'll find out what science course you're going to get today. Then I'll tell you how to fix the mistakes and stuff like later on. Sounds good? Are you all ready? Okay. Your time starts now. Good luck. Last 2 minutes. Time's up. Please stop writing. 35 minutes. With that, I'll be reading out the answers for you guys. When they say to stop writing, make sure to stop writing. Put your pencils down. Because even if you circle 1, you'll be disqualified. 7 of our students were disqualified that way. Ready? I'll go passage by passage. Passage 1. BJA. HAH. Just write down underneath each passage how many mistakes you did so it's easy to count because I would need that. Passage 2. DJC. I repeat. DJC. HDF. Passage 3. BHB. GCJ. A. Passage 4. FCF. DFB. G. Passage 5. CFB. GAH. D. Passage 6. JCH. BGC. J. Now count all of them.
Can you repeat the answers for passage 3?
Passage 3. Okay, give me 1 second. passage 3. Okay, I repeat for passage 3. BHB, GCJ, and 19 is A.
Thank you.
Have you did the count total? Okay. So out of 40, okay, we start with out of 40. How many got all 40 correct? 39. $38. Okay, your real ACT score is 35. Okay, you can get your phone and text your mom or dad or both science test scores. Okay, you can do that. 37. 36. Oh, people raise their hands. You guys can have to speak up. So I sometimes. So does anybody have 38 other than Lily? Okay, nobody. 37. Okay, Neelan, you have two people with 37, and the converted score is 34. Two of them. So 35, 34, 34. $36 correct. We have two people with 36 correct, and that is 33. So 35, 34, 34, 33, 33. 35 correct. 34. 33. 30. 32. 29. 31. 28. 30. 27. 29. I think we have everybody covered here. So the lowest was a 27, highest was 35. Go and text your parents. Get your phones, go and text your parents. So if this was a real ACT, Lily, you would be around 34, because the real test is a different field. So to still stay on a 35, you should have practiced full practice tests so that you're numb to it. That's the difference between a 35 here versus not being a 35 there, is the practice. It's nothing to do with your knowledge or intelligence. It's about practice. All right, write down step number 1. Okay, sticky notes or notebook, whatever you want to do. Okay. Write on the step number 1. Today, okay? After you reach home. When I say today, today is today, okay? Not tomorrow. That's a different word called tomorrow for that. That's called today. You have to go through all the questions you have made mistakes. In your case, it will be 2, for example. Okay? You have to review. You know the answer now. You can go through it and. So what I want from you guys, step number 1 is to review all of them. Step number 2 is to text me. Okay? So let's say you made 5 mistakes. 3 were silly, 2 you didn't know. Okay? So your text message, Manoj, I reviewed all the questions. I made 3 silly mistakes and 2 I didn't know. Okay. Step number 3. Is there any questions you want me to do? That means you still didn't understand, so you need my help. Okay? Your text message should be 3-step answer. Have engineering by degree. We think like that. 1, 2, 3. Everything has to be point wise. If you have guessed it and you got it correct, treat it as you got it wrong, and still work on it. Well, in the real ACT, it's a part of life, right? Guessing is a part of life. So you may have guessed it and you got it right. Did you guess on any?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
that's
I don't
good.
know.
But it has happened before where you get. I remember when I took ACT reading, I guessed the last 4 because reading I never liked. That's how I had planned. I wanted to get at least a 32. So I guessed the last 4 and I got 3 correct. Shit happens, but I'd practiced 30 times, 30 practice tests. So fortune favors the brave, or the fortune favors the one who practice. So you with me on this? Now, I have a couple moments to talk to you guys. So tell me, how did you feel? So let me ask this. Did you feel this test was hard?
Easier than ones I've taken in the past.
Easier? How many feel it was easier? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my God, okay. Good for you guys. How many thought it was hard? 1? Yeah, that should be. It's hard, it's hard. Don't look at others. You have to make your own decisions. Okay. Was there any passage you thought was hardest?
I think the last one was just.
I think passage 1.
Passage 1. Okay. Anybody else?
That last passage was the
Yes.
yeah, the sixth one was tough.
Yeah. So the one with the coding regions, right? People have actually, I disagree to your analysis. I'm happy that it was easier than others, but passage 6 can really have screwed up people.
-7, baby.
What did it say?
-7. Passage 6.
What happened to you?
In passage 6, I had 2 minutes left.
I know that passage.
Time consumed me.
Gosh, I hate that one.
Time management, it all comes to pan. Passage 6 was the default one, and a lot of students have made mistakes in it. Funny with passage 6 is either you don't do all correct, or many of them are wrong. So how many got all correct in passage 6? So you actually have understood this. How many got a lot of questions wrong on passage 6? Yeah, that's what usually happens. It's like extremes. It's like a pendulum. You swing from this side or this side. The rest were, so passage 6 would have changed your score for this test. So sometimes you get lucky. Those ideas click in that short amount of time, and you're like boom, 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 boom. If it don't click, next question. How many directly went to question number 1 of the passage and did not read the passage? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many read the passage? 1.
That's why I messed up on time.
I keep telling you guys, do not read the passage.
See-
Did you read the passage?
I usually don't read the passage, but then I thought in my head, I was like, I feel like Manoj told me to read the passage last time. I feel like he got mad at me for not reading. So I was like, okay, I'll read. And then I was like, and then I was getting low on time. I was like, I feel like I shouldn't have read. Because
This is a perfect
I've never have been that bad on time. I
Yeah.
have always been perfect on time.
See, this is a perfect example of why the rules and so if you practice 10 times, you'll never forget it. But you can't read the passage. You just can't. Question? Do you have a question?
We're going also go up
The ones I read though, I did really
Yeah.
good on.
Really.
I think passage 5 was also tough. That was
I
the
agree.
discussion one, the one they tell us to do last.
Yeah, I ran out.
Yeah, I ran out of time on that one. I got 5 wrong. I ran out of time.
I ran out of time.
It was horrible.
Now you know why those passages should be done last, right? Imagine if you had done this first.
Yeah.
More and more you think about the analysis of this test, of this pre this class and post this class, right? How you would have approached this test, and ask you honestly, would your score be the same? And I can guarantee 90% no. You would have had a difference of 2 to 4 points. I'm not saying this strategy is going to get up between a 25 and a 35. It would be you would have got maybe a 32 or 33. But 33 and a 35 is $20,000 grants scholarship difference. So when you start putting everything in dollar perspective, then you start understanding the gravity of these strategies. Strategies don't make a huge difference, but they make enough, whether you won't be frustrated, whether you complete the test. You made the point that you had 2 minutes left from passage 6. How many did passage 5 last? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be what you should have done, because it's a conflicting viewpoint passage. Now, I want to know how many did, what is the first passage you guys did? So you have to just answer it with, okay? So, let's start with Lily. What's the first passage you did?
I think I did, it was either, yeah, he was 2.
You're not sure?
No.
You want to be sure.
Yeah.
I expect you to be sure. Okay, 2.
2. 2.
I don't know.
Okay, IDK.
1.
I think it's 1. I did 2.
Online students.
2.
2.
2.
I heard 2. Okay. Okay, 1, 2. I would have done 2. I would have done 2 and 1. And this matters. It's not, you can't be laissez-faire about this. You just can't be laissez-faire about this. You put in the same strategies every single time, and so there's no surprises in the real test. If you change your strategies from one test to another test, when you walk into test, you'll be so flustered because you do not know what to do. Look at all the great athletes. They did the same exact thing. When Michael Phelps, and I've heard his examples a lot because I think he was one of the greatest athletes ever. When he went to Beijing in 2008, he had replicated 1 year what he would do here in US in his training facility. He tried the same exact thing. So for example, he did not talk to anybody for 2 days, the day before the competition started. No coach, no girlfriend, no mom, nothing. 2 days. He had the songs planned, and he did the same thing here. So he practiced like no wine, no beer, no alcohol, no this, no this. He planned and practiced for 2 days before, many times. So when he went to Beijing, he knew what he was eating there because that's what he ate here. He knew what he was wearing there, he wore here. There was no surprises, he said. Haircut was planned. When you want to win 8 gold medals in the Olympics, you don't take any chance. India has 2 Olympic gold medals in the combined India's history. 2 gold medals. Now it's 3 now. At that time it was 1. So he won 8 gold medals that year in Beijing, and another 15 more silvers, which he doesn't even count. Greatness happens because they do something different. You with me on this? They don't do anything that special day. They have been doing that. I tell you, that's the difference I see between you guys and an expert. You guys and a great student. You put in the effort. You got a 35, right? If you had done this again and again, you would have got a 36. And you may say, oh, I'm happy with this score. Great people don't get happy. They're never happy. You get a 36, they want a 37 for God's sake. You with me on this? So that's what I was looking at you guys as a body language. Like people are doing this. Hats are not allowed, by the way. Hats are not allowed during the test for cheating purposes. So I was looking at your body language, how flustered you were and how your scores turned out. You kept looking at me 3 times, I counted that. That itself was telling me something was going through his mind. I couldn't see the online students because they didn't have their camera on. It's tough to judge, but here I could. Practice, practice, practice. There should no surprises that day. You with me on this? 10,000 hours is not a random number. It's actually a picked number because scientifically they say you do something 10,000 hours of practice, you become an expert. Sounds good? So you guys have done well in the science test. Honestly, I'm not happy. The average is something a little bit lower. The range is high, right? 35 to a 29. 29, yeah. That's a 6-point range for 10 students. Okay? So you have a kind of expanded bell curve, right? I like a sharp curves. Next time, I expect you guys to do better. Have a good day. The punishment is you guys won't have a break. You're gonna get started right away. Have a sip of water, life gets started. See you guys, bye-bye. I was just kidding if you want to take a break. Okay.